Good time zone, everyone. Whether you've seen our show before or not, welcome to Superheroes Anonymous. I'm Nick, and I'll be the game master for this superhero side story. I'll be talking a bit about what we're doing here, but first, let's have the rest of our players introduce themselves.
I'm Ethan, and today I'm going to play Lynn Lyons, who is also known as the superhero Immaterial, and her playbook is the Janus.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and my hero name is Oneida. The player name is June Sandstone, and she's from the playbook The Transformed.
Hi, I'm Zach, and my hero's name is Davian Tarks. His hero name is SWAT, and the playbook is The Delinquent.
All right, thanks everyone. We premiere our episodes every Monday, give or take, at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We're taking a small break from our 5th edition D&D game while Kay plans the next arc of Antiheroes Anonymous, but she is still here in spirit because you can see her fantastic renderings of our team in the portraits right above me. This episode, we're playing Masks, A New Generation by Brendan Conway with art by Emily Lunsford. We're starting fresh with a new story here, so there's nothing to get caught up on yet, but please do check out the video description anyway for links and information on Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate resources. You can follow us on Twitter at Antiheroes Anon for updates on our schedule. If you like what you watch, please do subscribe, tell your friends, and come back for our other shows. We just wrapped an arc for our main campaign set in an original homebrew world. And after this, we'll be heading back into our Exandria focus game. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, check it out. And now let us get on with Masks. So we are going to be kind of doing a very... these are going to be our characters' origin stories, more or less. We're going to do deep dives into introducing our characters, finding out more about them. We're going to find out things about the characters in the session that you, the players, don't know yet. So who would like to go first? Are we going to do nose for this, or we just do it someone going to volunteer?
I can't even tell who was last.
I don't mind. I'll go.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you tell us, introduce first the basis of your character, tell us, who she is, what she looks like, things like that.
So June is a teenager who was walking along. She's a native girl. She was walking along alone on a reservation one day, and she got abducted by aliens. She doesn't know how long she was gone, but when she came back, she was really altered in appearance, hence transformed. So she has black hair that now has neon streaked heavily through it. She has tubes running in and out of kind of all different orifices of her body with kind of like green liquid running through it, but we don't really know if it's viscous or what. She's been afraid to find out. And one eye is kind of missing, and it's been replaced with some kind of optics system.
Okay.
Which is why some people think that her name, comes from one Ida, right?
I think that's what people thought. All right, so let's see, what was your life like, I guess, before that? Or well, let me answer me this first. Why and when did you decide to move from there to Halcyon City?
My people kind of didn't treat me the same. And I'm stronger now. I'm tougher. I'm less peaceful. I have more emotions than I used to have. So I came to the city to find out if something could be done or if it's permanent.
Okay. Did your family come with you, or are you here on your own?
Nope, on my own.
Okay. Write some of the stuff down. Where do you live, and who do you live with?
Well, I think my mentor is going to be from the Bronze Era, quintessence. because they totally get the vibe from the natural person I was before to the totally unnatural thing that I am now.
Is Quintessence like similarly transformed from like you were?
I don't think
not
so.
Not to say that they were like abducted by aliens or something.
No, I don't think so. But I think she is a big help in trying to help me settle into this new persona.
Okay. Cool. And Quintessence isn't like an active hero anymore, right?
No.
Okay. What is it that keeps you from just trying to hide yourself away? Like, why do you still go out in the world and try to do things?
Because I have a very proud heritage that I want to live up to, and I do want to help the planet.
When you say help the planet, do you mean like the people of the planet, the people of Housetown City, or are you kind of like environmentally focused? Do you like want to help the planet?
Both.
Both, okay.
Any way I can. But yeah, she's in nature. She likes nature and wants to help the planet physically too.
Okay. How old is what grade would you say that Knight is in?
I would say right now she's probably in, probably a junior in high school. So that put her around 15, 16.
Okay. Okay. I think the last question from your book stuff is why do you care about the team?
That's a hard one. I think we'll all pull together and help each other and depend on each other. Good support system.
That's one of those questions that might be easier to answer after you like know a bit about your team.
Yeah, we can come back to that if you want. Let's see if you answered that one.
I hope we have a good support system. I'm counting on you.
Yeah. Does June have other friends besides like school friends?
Basically, I think her tribe at the reservation kind of has shunned her right now.
Yeah, but I mean, in Housetown City at the high school where you go to, do you have you made any friends there?
At the high school?
Yeah.
I'm pretty intimidating looking, so I'm gonna say no. I think I gross people out right now.
Okay. So people. All right. Cool. So, all right, we'll probably come back to some of this stuff, but let us switch our focus to Davian Tarks.
Hello.
Zach, tell me a little bit more about Davian. What's Davian look like? What's his whole situation?
So his situation. Well, he looks like you will normally see him in, as shown in the art, in his costume where he's wearing his helmet and an armor. You want me to go into powers as well, or just leave it at that, and
we'll come back to powers.
Okay.
For now, we're just getting it.
Yep.
Come back to the nitty gritty in a bit.
But outwardly, he has kind of like, I don't know, he comes off maybe a little aggressive and imposing. He's not like super tall or super big or anything, but he's just kind of a jerk. And let's see, he got his powers. So members of his family would receive their powers sort of like at a certain age range, and it normally expresses or reflects like a strong experience or ideal or feeling that they have or that they've encountered. Due to a unfortunate disaster that took place, he's been a native in Halcyon City forever. But a villain that I created named the Wasp attacked his neighborhood, killing most of his family. And so his powers that he conjured reflect that instance, and also a deep sort of hatred for that villain for what he did.
Okay. Hatred for the Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So that answers how did you get your powers? What does Davian look like outside of costume?
He is a white man. Is the Buffalo's eye circle. He has hateful eyes and normally wears casual clothing.
Just what we needed is a white man with hateful eyes.
I know, I picked that and I saw the same thing. I'm like, why did I do this?
Oh no.
I'm sure. I hope that Davian is gonna come off better than he sounds like initially.
Yeah, surely.
What do you do? What do you do for fun?
He likes to, or I guess I like to read the news, or at least some articles that I can find. Try and keep tabs, and also look for any instances of the villain who wronged my family. And also, I like to read certain articles that also show the ineptitude of our local leaders.
Feels like that's kind of. It feels like you're like your Twitter follows are very like all of these very anti-authority, anti-superhero stuff, and you're just like taking all this in all the time.
Yeah, just eat it up.
Yeah. And social themes.
Also, I'm just really sorry if I come across as a jerk. It's not me. I love you guys. And,
we know, Zach. We know.
We know that you're playing the delinquent. You're
okay.
kind of, that's your role in this group. It's
I'm
cool.
sorry. It's not real.
Outside of the team, who thinks better of you than you do?
Would be my mother, Anna. Mm-hmm. She calls me her protector, even though all I do is cause her grief and worry. And she's pretty much the only family I have left.
Okay. Why do you try to be a hero?
I think it's mainly like the primary reason is because of the enemy that I need to defeat. Otherwise, as my powers manifested, it also sort of gave rise to this feeling that I need to sort of, I don't know, squash other like-minded criminals.
So you're pretty obsessed with the Wasp, but also like you don't want to. You've never considered turning your powers to villainy outright because you hate villains so much because like one of them really did this horrible thing.
Yeah, it's more like exactly. So villains or others that might target innocent families. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a villain. It could be, well, I mean, I guess it depends on your stance, but yeah, people who would do that, who would try and cause harm to innocent families.
So even heroes who like don't really watch out for collateral damage and are careless in the way they fight.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. And also just maybe like political leaders that are like they're like corrupt political leaders, let's say, who are looking out for their own gains and like taking away from the city or from those people.
Cool. Why do you care about the team?
Without meeting them, I would say they're probably the least worst people that I've met.
Yeah. What? How old are you? In what grade?
I actually was about to say the same age as Melissa's
Okay.
character.
Okay.
I was thinking probably a year younger, so probably like 15, like a sophomore.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm older and can boss you around.
Nobody can boss.
Maybe
Lynn
that's why you
around,
have
I don't think.
influence over me.
Okay,
not for
we'll
long.
probably come back to you too.
Okay.
But let's get started on Lynn as well. Ethan, tell us what Lynn looks like.
Most of the time, so she has several looks because that's kind of what she's about. But when she's sort of in home life mode with her family, because her family is very rich, and we'll get to that later, I'm sure. She tends to wear like fancy clothing with like lots of bows and frills and things like that. I guess I should go over the basics too. She's got like maybe shoulder length-ish black hair. She has violet eyes, which is kind of the only strange thing about her look. Everything else is pretty much plain about her. So yeah, that's kind of her physical look. Let's see. And then, so I talked about her home life look. When she is at school, she goes to kind of like a fancy private school. So she's got like a school uniform.
So let me check you on that. Because I do think you all go to the same school.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's gonna be a question I have for you in a minute. But yeah, so I don't think we're gonna do like the fancy private school outfit.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I will just say instead of
unless
that,
it's something that her parents are dressing her in.
That's also possible.
Yeah.
The way that I was going to spin it is I had to pick commitments that she has as part of her secret identity. The one I picked was student government, so it could be like a uniform for her student government thing that she's a part of. Either way, so school mode, she has this kind of uniform. Maybe her parents force her to wear it. Maybe it's just because of the student government thing. But yeah, she wears sort of like a uniformy type look. And then when she's a hero, it's like a kind of a very plain, fitting jumpsuit type thing with a mask that covers most of the face, but not really all of it. Just sort of enough to obscure the identity. And then she's got sort of like a purple and black hood that she puts up over herself. And not like a huge cape, but a kind of like a small cape as well off the back. So those are the three looks.
Nice. When and why did you first put on the mask?
So I thought about this, and I think, I mean, it would probably be like, I'm sure we're going to get to it, but like whatever the incident when our team came together, I think that would have been the first time for her. Okay. And it would have been a situation where like she witnessed something happening and kind of realized like she had to step into it, and she would have put on like an improvised mask for that first time and then came up with a costume later.
Okay. So does Lynn have powers?
A couple, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, somewhere on here. Yeah, she's got heightened physical abilities, strength, agility, toughness, and then energy absorption and substance mimicry.
Energy absorption and physical mimicry. So physical substance mimicry.
I don't think so. For how she got the powers, I think my idea was like Halcyon City Like there's so much weird stuff going on in Halcyon
Mhm.
City. I don't think she really knows how she got her powers, but like at some point she was exposed to something and had these powers. But I think she's had them for a while and just hasn't used them until recently. And the reason for that was because her parents would disown her. They don't think there's any like good, like they think there might be profit in being a superhero, and they're very money focused, but like it's not honorable profit. Like honorable profit is like you go to business school and like you learn business and you start a business and like that's kind of their opinion.
Gotcha.
And so they would like disown her if they found out she was doing superhero stuff.
Okay. I guess that partially answers the next question, which is, why do you keep a secret identity?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the main reason. She just doesn't want any risk of her parents finding out.
Okay. So it's not at all because she's worried about blowback the other way. She's not worried about like enemies that she makes targeting people that she knows or her home life or her student life or anything like that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
At least not at this point. Like I said, like her putting on the mask, I think is still relatively new.
Okay. Outside of the team, who knows about your dual identity?
Her snot-nosed little brother.
What are you doing to keep him in line and keep him from telling your parents? I imagine you're having to bribe him a lot.
Yeah. So she's basically his babysitter when the parents aren't around. And so like one of the motivations for him keeping it a secret is like oftentimes she goes out to do the superhero thing while she's supposed to be babysitting him, so he can have like the run of the house to himself. Obviously he also enjoys having a 17-year-old older sister with money from her part-time job to be able to like buy him junk and stuff. So because parents are rich, but they don't like buy a lot of stuff for the kids. They're like, if you want something, go out and earn it,
Yeah. Some lesson about money. Who thinks the worst of your masked identity? We may have also answered this.
If they knew, my parents would think the worst of it. But
yeah. Well, I think that's a separate question. I think that's like your parents would think a lot of your secret identity if they knew, but who, like, they would be upset at Lynn.
That's true.
Who hates Immaterial the most?
Oh, okay. I didn't think about this properly. Who hates Immaterial the most?
This is a very like J. Jonah Jameson type of thing where it's like he's cool with Peter, but Spider-Man sucks.
Yeah. Oh, can I just steal that then?
Yeah.
Like, can we have like a school reporter?
Oh, okay. Someone on the school paper.
Like, yeah, someone like. There was like, I don't want to say like collateral damage from our first incident as superheroes, whatever that was, but like this reporter was there and like their camera got broken or something like that, and so they have this kind of like personal vendetta against Immaterial. I like that.
Okay. Probably if it's a reporter, I imagine that like I've got to find out who Immaterial is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Gotta come up with a name for this person.
Yeah. I would like a name for that, and I would also like a name. I mean, I'm going to be asking other people questions. You can think about this while they're answering those questions. But I will also need a name for your little brother. Would be good.
Yeah, too. I should have thought of that. Let's call him Lionel Lyons.
Okay.
Lynn and Lionel Lyons.
Lionel Lyons, man.
Yep.
Lionel. Okay. I almost spelled that like the Zelda enemy. Then I realized you probably meant L-I-O and L-E-L.
I did, yeah. I'll come up with the name for the reporter later.
Okay. Then why do you care about the team?
because I think so. She has kind of like the superficial friend group at school. Other people in like the student government or whatever, people who she's friends with for like family reason appearances. But I think they're like the first people she feels that she, in a sense, can like take off the mask with, and then the other reason is she's like not super close with her family. Like she doesn't have that good relationship with her little brother, and her parents are distant. So, and if they're not distant, they are controlling. So yeah, it's just because like she feels close to them in a way that she hasn't felt close to anyone else.
Yeah. And here's a question that I apologize for springing on you because you're probably not prepared to answer this, but why do you go to Northside?
That's the thing, because I was thinking of her as kind of a private school kid, but maybe it's another part of the parents like, you're going to get the same education as everyone else, and then you're going to make something of yourself.
Gotcha.
For yourself,
Yeah. The same chances everyone else gets. Okay. These are very unusual rich parents.
Yes, yeah, they are.
I guess in some ways they're like better than most rich parents, even if they're pretty distant and not the most outwardly caring and loving.
Yeah, they didn't spoil her, but like
probably how they got rich.
Yeah.
They didn't help her either.
Yeah. Let's see here. So you're in school government. What is your position in school government? Are you student body president? Are you vice president? Like what's your role?
Let's go with like vice president, because I think she's like a junior in high school. So 16.
Okay.
Probably. So she's probably like on track for student president next year.
Oh, I thought you were talking about her other extracurricular. She's on the track team.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, she's probably like planning her campaign for student body president next year.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's see. Looking at the answers I got from everybody else here. I guess I'm a little bit curious about the relationship outside of the team between Lynn and June, because on the one hand you have somebody who's like very rah-rah student government, like probably pretty popular if they got elected to this position, who is superhero friends with one of like the weird kids who doesn't hang out with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think at this point in time, Lynn probably still tries to like win in normal Lynn mode, school Lynn mode, like keep distance from these two people. Probably both of them would be bad for personal and family rep.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. It's like that's one of the difficulties of the Janus thing. It's like you really gotta juggle that stuff even when it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Could it have been that our meeting together was like happenstance that we realized?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe we just like fell together. Like we're just like we know her identity, and so she's like now she has to know us.
Actually, now that I think about it, on my relationships thing, I have 2 blanks. I have blank knew me from civilian
we'll get to that
life.
in a bit.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a bit. I do want to go over, because this is something we barely talked about, but we didn't really talk about powers and moves. So let's go to June. What can you do? In what way are you super?
have metal for skin. So it's impenetrable armor. It's some kind of weird, almost like silvery looking metal.
Mhm.
And I'm very good with plants.
Okay. Let's see here. What moves did you take from the transformed playbook?
Yeah, the impenetrable armor and the plant affinity.
Yeah, well, those are your abilities, but you also have transformed moves, and you get to choose.
Oh, on the other
Yeah,
side. Sorry. I am not my body.
Mhm.
Unstoppable.
All right, go ahead and read this for just for the benefit
okay.
of the listeners. Thanks.
I'm not my body. When I take a powerful physical blow, I may roll as if I had 2 fewer conditions marked. If I do on a 10 plus, I must choose to lose control of myself in a terrible way. Unstoppable is when I smash my way through scenery to get to or away from something, I roll plus danger. On a hit, the world breaks before me and I get what I want. Or on a 7 to 9, I get to choose between mark a condition, leave something behind, or take something with you. But if I miss, I smash through but leave devastation in my wake or wind up with something worse. Up to the GM.
Okay.
Coming for you, when I mark a condition, I take a +1 forward against the person I most blame for causing it.
Okay. Sounds good. And what about Davian?
Okay.
What are your powers?
My powers are psychic weapons and emotional control. The psychic weapons, let's be honest, there's only one real weapon for SWAT. And yes, it is a giant fly swatter. Or a fly swatter of different size, depending on what he's facing.
Mhm.
I was thinking he creates his costume psychically as well. So it's not
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like change clothes.
Nope.
This armor you're
Just-
wearing is like a psychic construct.
Yes.
Cool.
That's exactly what it is.
I like that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lynn's got to run to the bathroom.
I was just gonna say, I don't have to make any phone booth visits, bathroom visits. You know, I just, we're on. Emotional control. This was one for he likes to make people feel inferior to him. He is the greatest, and everyone is going to know that. As far as moves, I don't care what you think, and that is whenever you reject others' influence, add +2 to the roll. I took Criminal Mind. When you assess the situation, you can always ask one of the following questions, even on a miss. And those are, what here is useful or valuable to me? How could I best infuriate or provoke blank? What is the best way in way past?
Okay.
And then I also took, are you watching closely? When you mislead, distract, or trick someone, roll plus superior. On a hit, they are fooled, at least for a moment. On a 10 plus, choose 3. On a 7 to 9, choose 2. And then I can do, the options are, you get an opportunity, you expose a weakness or flaw, you confuse them for some time, you avoid further entanglement. On a miss, you're hopelessly embroiled in it, and under pressure, mark a condition.
All right. Okay. And let's do Lynn's then.
Like I said earlier, her powers, she's got heightened physical abilities, strength, agility, toughness.
Yeah. And energy absorption you mentioned, yeah.
Energy absorption and substance mimicry are the other two. So I think substance mimicry is basically like I touch metal and my hand becomes metal.
Yeah,
that's sort of what
absorbing man type powers, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was. So yeah, that's her deal. And then her moves.
Is there, can I ask real quick, is there like a limit to that? Because there's some comic book characters whose deal is like I can make anything as long as it's like on the periodic table or whatever.
So I was thinking her limitation is like what I can get to and touch.
Okay. So you do have to touch something.
Yeah. I don't think that she can, like, at least at this point, maybe she'll grow into the power to be able to be like, I've touched metal before, so I can make myself metal anytime. But I think at least at this point, she has to,
Okay.
if she wants metal, she's got to touch metal. If she wants, whatever. Yeah.
Concrete. You gotta touch concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what? So you start with a mask.
Yep. Which you pick a label to try and embody when wearing the mask. I picked Savior.
Okay.
And then once per session, I can affirm either my heroic or secret identity to switch my mundane with my mask's label.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Then I've got mild-mannered. When you try to use your civilian identity to deceive, trick, or slip past someone, roll plus mundane. On a hit, they buy your facade. On a 7 through 9, you choose one of a couple options. On a miss, one of my civilian obligations rears its ugly head. Great. And then I've got I'll save you. You're willing to pay high costs to keep your loved ones safe. Reveal your secret identity to someone watching or mark a condition to defend a loved one as if you rolled a 12 plus.
Nice. And you have a thing to your playbook that nobody else does. So let's talk about your secret identity a little bit.
Right.
Your mundane life comes with a series of obligations, and you have to choose 3 of these. And we kind of talked about school student government. I assume that's one of them.
Yeah. So I tied, I guess, schoolwork and student government kind of as one, because that's the school thing. And then, so she has a job because her parents are very much like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, go out and earn your living. So she's a delivery person, like a bike food courier. She works for Super Eats.
Okay. Gotta write that down.
Yeah. And then she does babysitting for her little brother, her snot-nosed little brother Lionel, who's probably in middle school.
Her delivery job for so what was it called? Super Eats?
Super Eats, yeah.
Super Eats and babysitting Lionel. Okay. Alrighty then. I think that takes care of all that. And y'all have your labels all set, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because those are kind of like, those are kind of preset by the playbook you choose, but remember you do get to add +1 to whichever one of these you chose. Okay. I kind of wanted to go back and touch a little bit more on Davian. You mentioned something that I feel like I should have asked a little bit more about. The people in your family normally express their powers. Do you come from like a line of heroes, or do you just come from a line of like powered people?
Powered people. And then I didn't actually think about this, so I'm just going to come up with that on the fly. But we'll say that within the family tree, it's kind of split, whether or not they try and help the public with their powers, or if they just keep to their ordinary lives with it.
No villains, though, as far as you know.
As far as I know.
Okay.
But like because of the randomness of how his family gets powers, you can have someone that's like, I can change the color of flower petals. And it's like really not, you know.
I was in a really good mood when that power manifested.
Yeah. Like, you know, I don't think this is going to help too many people.
Yeah.
Can I have those hydrangeas in blue? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but yeah.
Sorry, when I go quiet, I'm just kind of taking some notes here. What does Oneida do for fun? Because we've established that she doesn't really have friends, and at least prior to the formation of the team, which we're going to get to fairly soon, you don't really do any heroing stuff. So like, how do you occupy your time when you're not at school?
Oh, I like to garden, grow fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
I talk to the trees.
Do you have any headcanon or details in mind for Quintessence? Anything you want to tell me about her? I did hear you use she, her for her, right?
Yeah, that's one of the books.
Oh, she's in there?
Yeah, she's, what do you call them? From a previous generation, and
Oh,
you know,
she's listed in the Bronze Age. Okay.
she's like the Bronze Age hero, Niall Collins.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's a guy. And I thought that being from the 70s and 80s, she'd kind of get the vibe.
Yeah.
Her vibe.
All right, I'll read up on that a little bit. Put a bookmark in there. By bookmark, I mean Xbox controller manual.
Nice.
Okay. Here from the book. Okay. All right, let us then move on a little bit to the influences and relationships. So let's start, since we were talking about Oneida, let's start with Oneida. All right, so blank, want someone on the team comforted you when you were at your lowest?
Someone on the team, I would think it would be Lynn.
I mean, let's be real, it's not SWAT.
Yeah.
Not purposefully, anyways.
Accidentally comforting her.
Emotional control.
That's true.
Oof.
Dangerous.
Tell me about that scene a little bit. Why were you at your lowest? What brought you there?
Probably being bullied at school, and not wanting to be deemed any more of a freak than I already am. And probably, I think Lynn would have walked by and saw what was happening and decided to be my champion. What do you think?
So I don't know if she would have championed you in the moment, but like maybe afterwards she would have like pulled you aside to an area where no one can see her associating with you, and then given you a lot of comfort. She's got to maintain that mask.
It's true.
So,
if you did pick Davian,
when she would get you like alone by yourselves, she'd be very comforting. But
okay.
Yeah. So maybe she ran into you like in the aftermath rather than in the moment itself. She like found you in the women's restroom crying or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh, this is an interesting one. I guess this isn't going to be someone on the team then. Who knew you before you changed?
I don't think anybody would have, because I went from being on the reservation where we were our own city, basically, our own subsidy, to coming back, not knowing how long I was gone, or anything. So I don't really think anybody would have known me. I just kind of wandered around until I found Quintessence or Niall or whatever.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Let's then do Davian.
Okay.
Let's see here. We've got what are the blanks here? You keep trying to impress who with your antics?
So I struggled a lot with this one, and I didn't really come up with anything yet because I thought we were going to have a little bit. I didn't really know how this game was going to play. If we actually had like
Yeah.
a scene or something first, so I could actually think about it, about who that might be. If I had to come up with an answer right now, it'd probably be his mom.
Okay.
But if I had time to wait, then I'd probably think of someone else maybe.
We can maybe come back to this after we do the when our team first came together stuff.
Okay.
But I will temporarily write down Anna here.
Yeah.
What about for the other one? Do you have a more firm answer for this?
Not really. I was hoping we were gonna have a little bit of
You
time
and-
because
You and Blank pulled an awesome, if illegal, stunt together.
I didn't really want to like bring someone in with me on that one without their consent.
Yeah. Does that sound fun to either of the other two of you?
Who wants to do something illegal?
How
Yeah.
did I know Melissa was going to raise her hand for that one?
Maybe we both did.
Oh no, you can do it. Lynn is not about that illegal life. So
Yeah, you probably don't want the spotlight
Yeah.
on you, huh? Like not
Yep.
like
What was the stunt?
what do you think we would have done now that we have talked a little bit? Maybe like
Went to the convenience store to get a frozen treat, dessert, Slurpee type thing, and walked out without paying.
Oh.
yeah, I was thinking maybe since SWAT's got the whole anti-corrupt politician thing, and you've got the whole like the earth conscious thing. Maybe there's a corrupt politician who's like also kind of like polluting the earth, and you two could team up.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe something like that. Maybe at like one of their rallies or something.
Oh, I see what you did there.
We like
Interesting.
we like messed
It's like
with the audio equipment, or we just like did something like pulled his pants
Like a-
down or something like that. I don't know.
Grassroots type of thing, literally. You
Mhm.
can make the grass grow up around this microphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So maybe we just like sabotaged one of those like rallies or conferences or something.
I like that.
Okay.
I'll write that down.
I will also write that down.
Okay.
I feel like you two could really come together on that sort of topic.
Yeah, I think so too.
But Lynn also has relationships with the other two of you. So let's see here. What are Lynn's prompts? Blank knew you from your civilian life first.
So I feel like that's probably Davian, because Lynn is in school politics.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'll leave it to you, but like I could see him being kind of like scathing of her and her school politics. I don't know. What do you think?
Was that to me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I was typing the stunt thing.
I was
I'm
just
so sorry
saying,
about that.
I have to pick someone who knew me from civilian life first, and I
Okay.
don't think that would be June because she's kind of like new around here. But Lynn and Davian are both kind of like born and raised Halcyon City.
Mhm.
So I thought maybe like he's been around and has seen her be like a school politician and might have like scathing opinions of her politics in school.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like what she's promising the student body and how she's like presenting
Just,
herself.
whatever is popular.
Okay.
Really?
So it really could just be for personal gain or something.
Yeah.
Like it's like is it like would she say it's like clear like just you're just trying to butter up the crowd, like it's not like
I mean, she tries to deliver on the things she promises, but in the end, like she's just she needs to be like student class president for
But
her
she's trying to be
parents.
liked. Like
Yeah,
she's just
she's
trying to be
trying to be
popular. She's
liked,
trying to be like,
so-
yeah. So he would definitely like if he picks up on that. Maybe he
which
does.
surely he would.
Okay, then
Yeah.
maybe he'd be like, this person, just like all the others.
Mhm.
Popular.
So
Yeah.
basic.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
And the other prompt, and this dovetails so well with what we've already established, you refuse to tell blank your secret identity when they asked. And I feel like this has to be June because like of shame from that other incident where it's like, I don't want June to know that I'm the person who refused to help.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. So maybe she did see the actual incident and then she saw June go off to cry by herself and then she
Yeah.
like parked herself in like the stall next door and would talk to June but wouldn't reveal. Oh gosh, that's so sad.
Yeah, or yeah, I
That's
don't know.
heartbreaking. Because she didn't want to be seen.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Her popularity was in jeopardy.
yeah. And I feel like
Mm,
June knows that was Lynn.
Immaterial. Oh yeah, sure.
And then when you are teaming up together and June asks, so who are you when you're not immaterial? You're like, well, I'm definitely not Lynn. Or, you know.
It wouldn't say that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
So since we're a team, we know each other's like I know your alternate personality now, right? Or do I only know you as immaterial?
That's what we were just talking about. Is
Yeah.
like it'd
Yeah,
be
that's-
totally fair for like you to be pretty sure that Lynn is immaterial and that immaterial is Lynn, but like when you asked, I refused to say.
Okay.
So you don't have that confirmation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we know about Davian.
he doesn't hide
Yeah.
it.
He doesn't hide it.
Unlike a certain changeling,
Too cool.
he's like doesn't even care.
Well, I was just wondering because like how do we get together and know how to contact each
Yeah.
other, and that's why.
Good
Okay.
question.
We can, well, so we're going to do some other stuff now. And I think we're going to do this next part a little bit differently than the book, than I've done it in the past. Because I want to do the team first coming together as playing the game.
Okay.
So
Sure.
I'm going to set a scene for you. Okay. It is just after lunchtime at North Halcyon High School. You are all finishing up your meals. Some of you probably finished up earlier than others because some of you are talking to your friends during during lunch.
Oh.
Some of you are not. Actually, does June eat? Serious question.
I think, yeah, I think she
Okay.
does. I think she'd have to, but she's probably like a vegetarian or maybe a pest, only eats fish.
Okay.
I don't know. Probably only green plants.
Yeah. So for some of you, the meal goes by quicker than it does for others. But basically, toward the end of the lunch break, you're all packing up your things, getting set to go off to class. And I think that the cafeteria here, it's like an indoor thing. And there's like a courtyard outside of school where some students go to eat outside, but most students kind of like stay in. Because I think the weather today is one of those things where it's like it's not raining, but it rained earlier, and the clouds have not gone away. So everyone's like, I don't want to get caught outside again if it's gonna rain again. Which one of you do you think would notice something amiss first?
Probably June. She's
Yeah.
not talking to anybody else.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think that's true also because of the nature of what happens here. June, I think that you sense something weird is going on with the Earth. there's like a slight tremor in the soil, and I think that you can feel. Are you eating outside?
No, I'm inside.
Despite the rain and everything.
I'm
Okay,
inside.
so you're still inside. Okay. Yeah, I think it's very faint, but I think that you can feel sort of like there's something amiss going on with the ground outside. What do you do?
So at that point, I'd pack up my belongings and go outside.
Okay.
Check it out.
Okay. It's like it's sort of like, how to put this? It's nothing visible yet, but you can feel that there's like a presence moving around in the soil underneath you. Something is definitely disturbing the grass, at least, and certainly the roots of the trees that are down there. And you can feel it coming closer. It's definitely approaching the courtyard of the school.
Well, I'll assume it's like a burrowing animal of some kind. So I'll go and follow it, see what it's doing.
Yeah. You are able to pinpoint where it's moving, because it's definitely coming closer and closer to the surface slowly. And you're able to pinpoint where it comes out. And when you, let's see, as it comes closer, you definitely feel that it's like something has taken control of plants down beneath the surface. And I think maybe the first roll of the game is June, as you're standing there, why don't you roll Take a Powerful Blow? This is rolling 2d6 plus your conditions marked, which you have no conditions right now. You're totally fine. You want to miss this one. This is the rare move that you want to not get above a 6 on.
And I got an 8.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
So on a 7 to 9, to take a powerful blow, you choose one. Your options are: you lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground. Your opposition gets an opportunity, or you struggle past the pain. Mark 2 conditions.
I'm going to struggle past the pain.
Okay.
So Mark 2, I feel probably a mixture of angry and afraid.
Okay. Yeah, mark those. Angry will give you -2 to your attempts to comfort or support or pierce the mask. And afraid will give you -2 to directly engage a threat. So what you do, I think that you feel this coming and you try and reach out with your will to prevent whatever is happening with the plants under the ground from like bursting up, because you can tell that's what's happening. It's like there are these plants that are under something's control, and they are going to burst up to the ground. And so you reach out and you try really hard to prevent that from happening, and your will is just overpowered, and they burst up all around you anyway. And I think that they kind of like knock you off your feet. And so I think you're angry certainly that this happened to you, but also afraid that something's control of plants was more powerful than you were able to exert.
Yeah.
Davian and Lynn, you can definitely see through the large windows of the cafeteria that this is happening in the courtyard outside. What do y'all do?
Is there like any sort of commotion starting to happen?
Oh yeah,
here?
yeah,
okay,
yeah. People are like at first some people went to the window, and you could hear them asking, what is she doing now? What is up with her? She's just kind of like is she like following an ant? What is happening out there? She's so weird. And then
Yeah, so weird.
When this violent eruption starts, you put together immediately what Oneida was doing. You were like, oh, she twigged to this thing that's happening to her school faster than anyone. And now she's alone out there and maybe needs help.
So I think Lynn kind of feels sort of in her for the like kind of the first time, like the need to like actually go help someone. Just seeing Oneida out there, or June out there all alone. So I think she would probably try to like make excuses to her friends, like, I'm gonna run and go get a teacher or something. I'll be right back. And then she's going to like dash out of there. But she needs to like try and find a makeshift disguise on the way out. So she's gonna like try and like, would there be like lost and found bins anywhere on the way?
You know, there could be lost and found bins. You could maybe be passing like the drama club with like the costuming stuff inside.
That's perfect. So she'll grab like a vampire cape and like a hood, like a low hood from the drama club as she just runs by, and she'll put that on for her makeshift costume.
Okay. Swat, what do you do while Lynn is off costuming herself?
Yeah, so did the attack look like really violent? Like now people are like panicking, or is it like okay?
Yeah. People aren't panicking because Oneida got hurt, but people are panicking because, oh no, I might get hurt next.
Yeah. Okay. So he probably rolls his eyes and says like, "What is that weirdo doing?" And then just like starts. He probably starts hurrying himself outside to go see what's going on.
Okay. Why don't you roll and assess the situation? Well, is that a thing in this game? I keep forgetting.
There is an assess the situation one.
There is
assess the situation.
It's called. It's even called that. Great.
Yes. And I have criminal mind, so I can also
even on a miss.
Yes. And I think it's with criminal mind you can do one thing, or what you can do assess the situation, and you can do criminal minds, right?
Yeah. So criminal mind triggers on an assess the situation.
Okay. So I got a 9.
Okay. That means you can ask one of the questions on this list in addition to one of the questions from criminal mind.
Actually, I didn't add my superior. So that's 9 on the dice plus 3. So it's actually 12.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you get to ask 2 from this list plus 1 from your criminal mind list.
And then let me see. I will ask, how could we best end this quickly? And
let me answer that in case the answer to that informs what question you want to ask next.
Yeah.
How could we best end this quickly? It's clear to you from the way that this is happening that this is not like the big vines and trees that are erupting are like they have these weird other like parasitic vines wrapped around them. And you can tell from the way that this is, just from the way this looks, you can tell that this is all happening as a result. This is a supervillain attack. The way to end this like plant attack on the school is to find the person responsible for it and put a stop to that.
That's good that you answered that, because my next thing was what here can I do to use, or what here can I use to find who's behind this, is what I was going to ask as well.
Okay.
I guess that might be Oneida's superpowers, maybe.
I think that's kind of the answer I was thinking of. Okay. Like your biggest ally and asset in the situation is Oneida.
And then.
Oneida's got a big asset.
And then I guess from criminal mind, it would be
her shiny metal asset.
What's the best way in or past the all the vines that are exploding right now and coming out of the ground? Just
That's way in or past the vines.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to add that last part.
Yeah. You said past the ground, the vines that are exploding in the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fair to add.
Okay.
You look, you watching them like writhe and grope around for a minute, but you can tell that they're not going down past a particular height, like up to about like they're keeping clear of the grounds of the courtyard for whatever reason. They're not like snaking along the ground. They're keeping like a foot or so off of it. And you think that the best way to get to the epicenter of this phenomenon would be to stay low, go low.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get a +1 when acting on any of those 3 answers, which is pretty good.
Yeah, great.
Oneida, what do you do? How do you respond to being just like basically knocked flat here?
Okay.
You can by now hear the shouting and hubbub of the people inside as everyone in the school realizes that they're under attack from something.
So it's kind of freaky that my first test is coming from plants, which I adore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at these vines and the parasitic vines and thinking, oh, I'm not gonna be able to talk to them. There's something wrong here. So I think I'm gonna try to grab one.
Okay.
And see what happens.
Okay.
To see if it will, like for instance, mind me if I physically have one.
Okay. Why don't you roll unleash your powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses? This is particularly what's happening here. So roll 2d6 plus freak.
Ooh, that is a 7 plus 3 is a 10.
Hey, that's a total success. Okay. You managed to get in control. How does it feel like? Like, what sort of communication do you have, or does Oneida have with plants?
So I think she would just get a vibe.
Okay.
And so probably can feel the plant that's underneath the parasite.
Yeah.
And so I would think that the parasite then, if I unleashed my power, would kind of wither away.
Well, I think that would be that sort of thing. Trying to get the parasite to wither away would be more like directly engaging a threat.
Okay.
Which we can roll back to that. But what you get from this is you're able to kind of get the vibe from the plant under the parasitic vines.
Okay.
Of like, there's like fear because it doesn't know why this is happening, but also like a thrill of being on a roller coaster of like, this is scary in 2 distinct ways, one of which is kind of fun and one of which is not. And I think that I will say from what you get here, you do have 2 options for how to deal with these surging and writhing and flailing plants. One is you can try to unleash your powers again, and you can try and extend your senses and talk to these plants that are being ridden by the parasitic vine to try and get them to take back control. And the other thing you can do is you can try and directly engage a threat, which is to like extend your plant control and like cause the parasitic vines to wither away or pull them off or something. So those are 2 distinct ways that you could solve the problem that you know about now.
Okay. So my question would be, when I got the vibe, I think without knowing what the source is, I think I would directly
I'll tell you what the source is too, because I feel like that's a fair thing for what you were doing here.
Okay.
you get that the parasitic vines are coming from a person who is further down below the ground. There's like a pit or like a tunnel that these plants are being manipulated from.
Okay, so if that's the case, then yeah, I'll directly engage the plants to see if I can rid them of the parasites.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and roll plus danger. Remember to subtract 2 from this roll because you are afraid.
Okay, so I got it. 8. So do I add the +1 for danger and then subtract the 2?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 9. So I got a 7.
Okay, well, that's still a partial success. On a hit, you trade blows. And what that means is the villain will mark a condition, and you will also mark a condition. Now, you have the opportunity to pick one from this list on a partial success. You can resist or avoid their blows, so they get the condition, you don't. Or you can take something from them. You can create an opportunity from their allies, which in this case is like one of your allies is going to get a +1 forward from something that you do. Or you can impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
So I think I'll surprise the opposition.
Okay. Go ahead and mark a condition.
I'll mark insecure.
Okay. Let me see here. Give me a second, because when you inflict a condition on the villain, they get to make a move for free immediately. So let me figure out what that is.
Meanwhile.
Yeah, meanwhile, we'll get to you right after this.
I could just describe what's going on while you look up the thing. She's just in the bathroom, like pulling on the cape and like the hood and like pulling a scarf around her mouth. And she's like, oh my God, this is so stupid. Why am I doing this? This is so dumb. And then she slams the door to the bathroom open, ready to go. And Quentin Haverfield, school reporter, is there with a camera. The door smashes the camera. And she just goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And then runs.
Quentin what?
Haverfield.
Haverfield. Yep.
Oh, I love it.
Amazing.
Let me write that down real quick.
Does she make it to the scene?
She will in a second.
She can come in later, but that's what's going on meanwhile.
Okay.
Okay, Quentin Haverfield. All right. Let's see here.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. What happens after you remove the vines or the parasitic vines from these plants? Is that they kind of like they stop feeling as badly. And they just kind of, I think they even stop being animated to some extent. They just kind of like settle and become like new trees and vines and bushes in the courtyard where none existed before, that are just like jutting out at weird angles and just like flopping around and things right out of the ground. But I think that you managed to kill the parasitic vines on them. And then Lynn, you burst on the scene into the cafeteria with all the panicked students and through the ground, smashing up, just like blindly flailing at all these students inside here. It happens again.
I said, oh no, but I was muted. So up here, even here in the cafeteria, the vines are bursting up. Oh gosh. So I haven't reached the main scene with June yet.
No.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah. Anada and Spot are outside, and Immaterial has arrived on the scene for the first time.
I basically am going to look around frantically, find like, I don't know, maybe like a stone column or something like that. Or, sometimes they have like those like plaques in schools that are like stone with like, I don't know what I'm thinking of, like names carved into them, whatever. Find some sort of stone and like touch that. And then I'm just going to try and, as I make my way through the cafeteria, like, get in the way of these vines and like keep them from hitting people long enough that people can run away.
Okay. I have a question for you, and this is directly from your playbook. The first time the team came together, you saved the life of someone important, either to the city or us. Who was it? Why were they important? You're doing that right now.
Oh. Let's see. I mean, who's important at a school? Let's say the principal.
Okay. Principal Genevieve Morrison is also in the cafeteria trying to maintain order, and you see these plants burst up through just like right through the linoleum, and it looks like they're actually reaching for her.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get in the way of that.
Okay. There's a move, I think it's called defend. When you defend someone or something from immediate threat, roll plus savior.
Can I use the mask ability to flip mundane and savior for this? It feels appropriate because it's the first time.
Yeah.
That she's
what are you affirming here?
That in this moment, I am going to protect people.
Okay. So, well, let me clarify that question
okay.
a bit. Affirming one or the other of your identities is about making a choice that one of them is more important than the other one.
Oh, I see.
Are you doing something in this moment? Maybe. I mean, I can pitch this, but if you don't like it, then we can do something else. Is your costume half on, and Principal Morrison is going to know who saved her?
Let's say yes.
Okay. So even though you didn't have time to fully costume yourself, and I think after that, or maybe because you have such like student government has like a fairly close relationship with Principal Morrison, like some other student, she wouldn't know who it was, but she will recognize you in this moment. And that's, you're willing to make that sacrifice.
Yep.
Because it's more important that Principal Morrison gets saved.
I think
okay.
So.
Yeah, then you can go ahead and use that ability.
Okay, and then I have to roll, what is it? Plus savior, which is why I wanted to do the switch. Because my mundane would swap with my savior, so that's really good. Yeah, I rolled really high anyways. 9 on dice plus 3 since my stat is flipped.
Hey.
It's for a 12. One thing I was wondering about, does this stat stay flipped or is it just for that one roll? I assume just the one roll.
That's a good question. Let me check the Janus playbook real quick here.
It just says, once per session, you can affirm either your heroic or secret identity to switch your mundane with your mask's label.
I think that's a temporary thing.
Okay.
I think that's for this one.
Oh, and since I've revealed my identity, do I mark potential? That's also part of this.
You do.
Sweet. Okay, now let's see what I actually do when I defend someone.
Okay. For NPC threats on a hit, you keep them safe and choose one. You can add a team to the pool. You can take influence over someone you protect, or you can clear a condition. I don't think you have any conditions.
I don't have any conditions. Well, I'm not really with the team yet, so I'm going to eliminate that one too. Can I take influence over the principal?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to do that.
Okay. Mark that on your sheet. That you have influence over Principal Morrison. And set the scene, tell me what this looks like as you get her away from these flashing vines to safety.
Yeah, like I said, I found something that was like stone-ish and kind of transformed my my skin to that, and then I'm basically physically warding away the vines, and I just say, Principal Morrison, I'll protect you. Hurry, just get to safety. Look, the rest of the students, they're already fleeing. They're fine. It's time for you to get out of here too. Just kind of warding them away.
Mm-hmm. And she looks at you and almost says your name, you can tell, and then and catches herself and says, yes, that seems best. You have this under control. And she leaves. She's just like,
yes, I do, I guess.
SWAT, you are in the doorway. You've been assessing one situation, and then another one erupts right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you go toward?
I go towards Oneida.
Okay.
Or I should say
that.
June. And yeah, so after I assess the situation, I realize that her powers are probably the best for disrupting the threat, and she's obviously doing that already. So I am going to conjure my weapon of choice,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just going to start like pounding the ground with it, and I'm going to try and provoke and yell at this supervillain.
Okay. Yeah, roll a provoke.
I shall.
Provoke someone.
Okay.
Say what you're trying to get them to do first.
So I will shout out at them and say, "Come out, you weed! Boo! Little Daisy can't face high schoolers by themselves."
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna try and get him to
Okay.
to come out and face us.
Yeah, and roll plus superior, unless you have a thing that lets you roll something else. I forget.
I don't think Are You Watching Closely works because I'm not trying to mislead or distract somebody.
Yeah.
I'm trying to call them out.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a 10 plus my superiority, so I said 13.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. On a 10 plus, they rise to the bait and do what you want.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. You watch as this kind of like there's like a rumble and like of like very shifting of sands or shifting of the soil from the pit that these new plants have sprouted up from, and this pardon the pun, this weedy looking man rises from the ground, clods of dirt and sod and dust, and just like little weeds just like falling from them the whole time he's rising up from the ground, just on this kind of like throne of like branches all interlocked with each other, and all these branches that he's riding and all of this stuff all has the same parasitic vine, and his skin is very sallow, and that like parasitic vine is also just kind of like interwoven or all over his skin, the parts of it that you can see. It's kind of nasty looking. He looks like he is a living rotted vegetable in some ways that this gross vine has been growing on.
Okay.
And he's staring daggers at you.
Can I?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna look really disgustedly at him and be like,
Uh-huh.
"You look just as gross as I thought you would."
And he says, "I'm not here for your approval or your. I'm not here to deal with you. I'm here for those who did me wrong when I was a student. You ought to know how it feels." And I think he's directing this last one at Oneida. Oneida, he is trying to influence you. If you don't do anything, he will shift some of your labels around. He's going to move one up and move one down according to how he thinks that you are and how he thinks you ought to be. Do you accept this or reject this?
I'm going to let it happen. See what happens.
What are your labels right now? Are they what? So it's like basically the ones from the book. And where did you put your +1?
I put my +1 on superior, so I'm at a 0.
Okay. Cool. He's gonna move, unless you resist, he's gonna move your danger up 1 and your mundane down 1.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And he's looking at you, and you can see in his eyes and hear in his voice that, like, in some sense, he knows what it's like to be you, to be somebody who was not respected or taken seriously or thought of even really as a person at school. You get all this sense from him that he had a life like yours, but he didn't choose to become a hero. He has decided to get revenge. What do you do?
I tell him, yeah, I get you, buddy, but this is not the way.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
So I'm going to try to comfort and support him.
Oh, okay. Roll plus mundane.
Which he just made a -2.
Are you also still angry? Because that would be -2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this again is probably going to go pretty badly.
This is probably going to go pretty bad. Okay, so I roll. To support, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I rolled a 9. That's the good news.
Okay.
So
that goes down to a 7 because of your what was it? You're afraid or because you're angry?
Because I'm angry.
And then it goes down to a 5.
5. So I got a 5.
Yeah. Mark experience because you just failed to roll. That's how we get experience in the game, is by failing. So even doing things that are key to your worst stats are not like they're not going to get you what you want, but they are going to help your character improve. Let's see here. I think he sneers at you and your attempt to comfort him, and he says, "Yes, I see that's going very well for you, isn't it?" Give me a second here. This is the thing I want to do. So I get to make a move as hard as I want. One of the one of the vines that he's controlling, like I think one of the branches from his little throne shoots out and like grabs you by the chin and like turns your head forcefully, and you see over at the all the students in the cafeteria who are like screaming and shouting and like dealing with the hubbub. You can see a bunch of them are looking toward you, and in their eyes, they do not recognize the difference between you and this man. They can't tell that you're not a part of this attack.
Brutal.
Yeah. Lynn, what do you do? Where are you?
Lynn comes charging out of that crowd of indifferent other students.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious, what does June look like right now? Like, what's her? What can Lynn tell about her as she comes running out of the crowd?
Sorry, hang on a second. Before we do that, I just realized this is a perfect place for something else. June, we drew attention and ire from plenty of people during the fight. One important person in particular now hates and fears us. Who is it? And this happens right now as a result of that failure.
So I think I was considering trying to befriend someone in a gardening club.
Mhm.
But they're looking at me with complete loathing now, and I feel like it's going to be impossible.
That's really sad.
Be thinking of that person's name because they're going to be a character coming forward. But yeah, sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Lynn comes running out in her improvised costume with like the vampire cape and a hood over her head and like a scarf around the mouth.
Mhm.
Can I make a remark
but-
at Lynn?
Certainly.
Okay. I think when you come out, Davian just like gives you this like look and like just like, who are you supposed to be?
Who I am is immaterial.
Can you like turn to a shovel or something and deal with this then?
She basically like all you can see of her is her eyes, and she rolls her eyes big. Yeah, what does June look like in this moment? That's what I was curious about, because that will pretty much decide what Lynn does.
Okay, so we're just face to face, and he's just turned my head, and I'm feeling pretty bad and low about myself again because I keep getting bullied. So you're not sure whether I'm going to defend myself or totally break down. I think right now you can't tell.
Okay, then I think June will run up and put an arm around.
You mean Lynn?
Sorry, Lynn will run up to June and put an arm around her. And when she does so, one of the hands, her free hand, changes to metal, like June's skin. And she will try to basically, I mean, not like in an attacking way, just like push that vine away. And she will kind of get her eyes level with June's and say, hey now, listen to me. I've seen you do things with plants. I know you can do things with plants. This guy over here, he's a pretender. He wants you to be just like him, hateful and angry and horrible, but that's not you. It just isn't.
All right, go ahead and roll comfort and support.
Cool. That's mundane. I like that. Not when I roll so poorly, though. Oh, this is bad. I wanted to do well here. So it's still a success, but barely, because I rolled a 4 + 3 for 7.
Okay. On a hit, they hear you. This is actually, it's hard. There's no like partial success. There's only like a less.
Oh, that's nice.
A less like successful success. They can mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels if they open up to you. Onada, are you in a position right now to open up to immaterial?
I'm going to, take that comfort and tell her that's exactly what I was trying to tell him. I'm amazing, and he can be too.
Exactly.
All right. Which one of your, what are you going to do?
Do I choose that, or does she?
She does.
Perfect.
I'm going to clear angry.
Okay, great.
And then I do what? Shift labels if I want.
That's one of the things you can do, but you chose to mark or clear condition.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's one or the other. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I cleared angry.
Okay. Now the three of you are together against this threat, and so we're going to do a thing. There is actually a move in the peripheral moves that is called when you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, which I think you are now finally doing. Add 2 to the team pool, and remember that you have a team pool. It started at 1 at the beginning of the session, and I'm adding 2 to it now. You can spend the team in a couple different ways. I think those are in the peripheral moves. Let's see, the leader of the team, which I don't think you have a leader right now, can mark a condition to avoid removing a team from the pool. Oh, well, there's this checklist we have to go down here. Who is the leader of your team?
I feel
That's
like
a good question.
in
Would
this
it be
moment,
Squat?
In this moment,
Lynn?
who is the leader of your team?
Oh no, I was going to say it's got to be Oneida, because plant versus plant.
Okay.
Can the leader
right.
change per encounter, or is that like, is it?
I think it's something you were going to figure out later is on a more permanent basis. But
Okay.
I'm talking about like right now.
Right now? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's also Oneida.
Yeah. All right. Does the leader have influence over every teammate? I don't think that's true. Okay. I'm going to ask you individually. SWAT, what is your purpose in this fight? What do you hope to accomplish here?
I think I want to get rid of the villain
Okay.
as quickly as possible so he doesn't hurt the students.
Okay. Which of those would you say is your priority?
Oh, okay, just one of those
Are
things?
are you here to get rid of villain, or are you here to save the students?
Get rid of the villain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lynn, what's your priority here?
Yeah, I'm more protect the students with the ulterior motive being keep my identity hidden.
Mm-hmm. Nida, what's your priority here?
Right now,
Mhm.
the way he is, get rid of the villain.
Okay. So not everyone has the same purpose in this fight. Does any team member mistrust the leader of the team?
Not mistrust, no.
No, okay. Yeah, so that one's fine. Is your team ill-prepared or off balance?
Probably.
Okay.
We're a little off balance, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to remove one team for that. And so you come away, you have 2 team points to use. The way you can spend them selfishly. And when you do this, you can say how your actions ignore or insult your teammates and shift one label up and one label down, your choice. You can use this option after rolling to affect the label that you are rolling with. Or you can spend team to help a teammate just by giving them 1-1. Or giving them +1 to their roll. So you have 2 team right now.
Help a teammate. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
And all the while that this is happening, while I was explaining my mechanics, the villain is also monologuing and ranting about like I was, they expelled me. They from this very school. I was one of you. I could have had a successful career, but that's not how they saw it. But I'm back to show them. I'm back to show them what a good student I really was. I learned all sorts of things on the streets.
If you were a good student, you could have gone out and got your GED. Being expelled didn't have to be the end of the world. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, man.
This is I'm pulling all sorts of things up by their roots. And Lynn, roll to take a powerful blow.
Oh gosh. Okay. Plus conditions. I don't have any, so that's good. Oh yeah, classic low roll 5.
That's great. That's what you want on this particular move. So mark experience because you quote unquote failed to roll.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing about this move is that like when you succeed, you mark experience. Let's see, how does the rest of this go? Say how you weather the blow. What he's doing is he's trying to wrap all of your limbs up and keep you immobile while he goes and wreaks havoc on the rest of the school.
I mean, I think I still have that like one metal arm, and so I'm just basically like snapping twigs with that to keep him off of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the other 2 of you doing while he's trying and failing to restrain Lynn?
So I am going to walk behind him while he's distracted and directly engage him.
Okay.
Well, Unleash My Powers is different, right?
Yeah, Unleash Your Powers is like more of a way to set up somebody else's blow.
So that I think I'd rather do that.
Okay.
And set up SWAT.
Okay.
Well,
so
I was actually gonna try and distract him so you could use your powers or abilities to defeat him because I think you're the best suited to actually engage the enemy.
Okay.
So do you want to do his first then?
Yeah, let's do the setup thing first. What's your idea to help Oneida?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try and get his attention, and I'm gonna. Is he like firing off like vines and stuff like that? Because maybe I'll just like start like pulverizing all of
Yeah,
the like
yeah.
vines and things he's shooting at the school or whatever,
hmm
and just yell back at him and just be like, "Well, you didn't learn very much if you can't handle us," and just try and get him to have eyes on me. And I would like to use my move. Are you watching closely?
I was about to ask, is that what you're doing here? Yeah,
Yes. And I'd like to do that if
yeah.
possible.
When you mislead,
So,
distract, or trick someone, and you are definitely distracting them.
okay, so is that a roll by itself, or is it I roll another move, kind of
No,
like
this is
the assess
this
the
is a roll on its
situation?
own.
Okay,
It's a roll plus superior.
okay. Well, I got a 14,
Okay.
so
On a 10 plus, you choose 3 from this list.
yeah. And if I get an opportunity, can that mean that June gets an opportunity?
Yes, that's
Okay.
definitely
So I would like to
possible.
get an opportunity, expose a weakness or flaw,
hmm
and confuse them for some time.
Okay.
I like how it says entanglement. I'm like, well, maybe I will get entangled if I don't choose that
Yeah.
one.
June, you get an opportunity because he's focused so like closely and so devotedly to trying to smash this person who's been provoking him. And I think he's like ranting. He's like, they called me the bad seed, but they didn't know how right they were. And you are like dodging and flipping away and ducking underneath all these attacks, and like you know how to do this because earlier in the fight you identified that like you go low and a lot of these things just will not hit you for some reason that you don't quite understand. But it's like having identified that weakness, you're able to just style on him to the extent where June, he's wide open for June. And the weakness you identify here is while this is happening, you notice also that Lynn, the vines that she had been like trying to like break free of or like brush aside, he's not targeting her anymore either. He seems he can really only do one person at a time. He doesn't have like the mental capacity to really spread himself out over multiple targets.
I'm gonna yell at him back and say, "You're just ripe with complaints, aren't you?"
June, now's your opening.
So,
you'll get a +1 to this, in addition to whatever else you got.
So I'm going to use my transformed move, Unstoppable, to try to get to him as quickly as I can.
Okay. I don't think you need to use that move. You're all out in the open right now.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
thought with all the vines and stuff going around.
Yeah, so the vine stuff going around, like SWAT has taken care of all that. He's completely focused all of his vines on SWAT, who knows how not to get hit. And so you have the opportunity. You don't need to set yourself up. You are completely set up for this right now.
Great. Then I'm going to unleash my powers.
Okay. Or directly engage.
Or directly engage threat.
Okay.
Okay, so it's plus danger.
Now this can go a couple of ways that I can see. Either this is going to be a physical blow, and you're going to roll the same thing either way. I think it's roll plus danger for this.
Yeah, I was thinking if I do unleash my powers, danger is a well, I guess it would be a 0. That's not so bad. Never mind. Yeah. Go ahead.
So just tell me what this looks like. Is this you pitting your control of the plants against him and just like shutting him down in that way? Or is this like you're going in fist flying?
No, so I think what June would do is, since she can manipulate plants, she'd turn his weapon against him and say, I know how easy it is to get wrapped up in gardening. It's a great hobby. You're taking it to the extreme.
Okay. Go ahead and roll plus danger, +1 as well.
Okay, so I'm still afraid. So it's -2 +2, so that cancels out, but I still get a +1.
Yes.
All right, so that's a 9.
Hey.
Can I
Does someone
spend
want
a
to use it?
team to give her a 10?
Yeah,
There you go. Tell me how you're helping with this.
I think it's probably more like an emotional support thing. Like as she starts to push against the plants, Lynn would just like basically, because she's still like kind of slightly fending off plants a little bit with SWAT, but not quite as much as SWAT. She'd just be like, yes, go, 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 like cheering on June. You've got this.
Of course I do. So all the plants do my bidding, and he's completely unable to do anything.
Yeah. So another condition triggers here. Let's see.
Did this guy say his name? I don't think he did.
His name, his supervillain name is Bad Seed. He is going to. He says, no, I have control. I still have control. Watch this. And all throughout the school, from the courtyard, you can see he's lost it. He says he's in control, but he's not really controlling anything anymore. It like back in the cafeteria, Lynn, you could see that he was using these vines for a purpose. He was trying to grab the principal. And I think SWAT and Anati, you kind of heard his rant about how like the principal expelled him, so he's back to get revenge. I don't know if Lynn was there for that. I don't remember. Now stuff is happening, and it doesn't seem like it's for any purpose or reason. He's just breaking the school. Like through the roofs of the buildings, you can see these stuff. It's going up through the floors, through the other floors, through the ceilings, and like the school is almost getting wrecked. And now I need a third question to be answered. SWAT, we totally broke some major rules to win the fight. What rules did we break, and whose rules were they?
I was just looking at that too, and I'm like, I don't know if we've broken. Have we broken any rules yet?
We're about to do it now. This is where you answer the question.
Oh, I get to break rules, or we get to break rules. Okay.
He's on the ropes. He's about to be defeated.
Yeah.
Tell me how you break the rules, or what rules you break in order to finish this fight.
Let's see. What do we do? Gosh, I'm kind of drawing a blank.
If anyone else has suggestions, you can feel free to pitch stuff.
What do you guys think we would do here?
I'm trying to think of what some school rules were back when.
Well,
it could just be like rules of like, I don't know, it's like morality, or not morality, but like, just like.
Yeah, like heroes don't do this.
Yeah, right.
I'll draw the line at killing.
Yeah.
Because there's like a page, it's like a place on page 32. It's like you're not.
You're right.
You're not killers.
Yep.
Let's see.
You got a bunch of like rule followers playing this game and asking them the question like, how do you not follow the rules?
Yeah.
How would we cheat at something? It feels like we're cheating because we're ganging up on him, but what would?
Could
how far does Lynn's what's the name of the power? The material thing?
Substance mimicry.
Substance mimicry. Yeah.
Oh. I think I see what you're going for. Like, do I accidentally change the substance of like the parking lot or whatever we're in? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
maybe,
like we don't, so like maybe after this we don't have a courtyard anymore.
yeah, what could I turn it into? So I would say this was probably not an intended effect, because in my mind her substance mimicry is kind of pretty limited at first. But maybe sort of in that moment where she's excited about Oneida doing her thing, she kind of turns the section of the courtyard underneath the bad seed into like all metal and like cuts off all the roots to him there.
Roll to unleash your powers in that way,
Yeah.
because it's not something you do.
Yeah, okay, I'm great at freak, -1, but we'll see how it goes.
Welcome to my world.
Unleash your powers. Oh, wow, really well. I rolled a 5 and a 6.
Hey,
-1 for a 10.
for a 10. Okay. To overcome that, reshape your environment, which you're definitely doing. On a hit, you do it. It's not, you don't have to mark a condition. The effect is not unstable or temporary. The effect is in fact pretty permanent. Tell me what you have now instead of a courtyard.
So was the courtyard like kind of grassy before?
Yeah, it was just like, there was like a couple of like benches out there, and like I think there was like a flagpole. I think this was where the school flag was.
So now we have a school flag that is like stationary in the wind because it's metal.
Yeah.
We have no more like nice stone walkways because they're metal. We have no soft grass to lay down picnic blankets on because they're sharp points of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the bird's nest in that tree. Yeah, that's metal.
Oh man.
Great.
I think that's pretty much it. Just like the entire area is
Yeah.
just all metal now.
Yeah. So basically, like vandalism.
Yeah.
The less is the rule we wrote here.
The worst
Okay.
part of it is, I hate to say this, since I'm mimicking Oneida's body metal, it's the same metal as her.
Oh no.
Hey,
So
her metal is beautiful.
It is,
I think
but you're
it's
gonna get
gorgeous.
blamed for it, I'm pretty sure.
oh yikes. Okay.
Mhm.
Oneida would probably turn to you and say, "How are you at sculpture? This could be really beautiful."
I don't know how I did that. This is the most I've ever used my powers.
And I think like so first off, all of the vines in the school that have been thrashing around and breaking everything just stop, kind of like how everything stopped earlier, like freed from the control of somebody who was actively manipulating them. There's just weird tree stuff all through the school, and like the cleanup job on this is going to be significant, but at least the buildings are not going to fall apart.
I'm gonna have to organize volunteers to clean this up.
Yeah. And Bad Seed is just like raking at the ground with his fingernails that are like leaving these horrible straight scratching noises. Like, no, why? How did I don't understand what happened? And he's just like sobbing.
The bad seed never sprouts, she says as she pulls up her mask a bit more.
You know, in every garden, there's got to be some bad seeds, but this one was a doozy.
I think Lynn would go over to Bad Seed and kind of kneel down a little bit, get on his level, and say, listen, I was serious about going and getting your GED. If you think that you've been mistreated, that's the first place to start. This wasn't it.
I don't know how to write.
Well, then that's
write
step
good.
number one. There's classes you can go to for that. I know there's tons of community colleges with affordable classes.
I guess it'll have to be a correspondence course in jail.
I hear they offer some classes in there too. She kind of pats him on the back a little bit uncomfortably.
Yeah. So basically after this, like Aegis, which I think is the name of the is that what they're called? The like
I think
shield,
so.
shield group,
Mhm.
Shield group in this game. Aegis eventually comes and collects them. And the three of you realize, talk about, like, oh, we made a good team. Maybe we should do this more often. We managed to save the school, and looking up at like all the plants and vines that have burst through windows and floors and kind of. And I think we're gonna call it there because that is how the team came together. And then in our next session, we will start the real story.
Okay, can I just
Awesome.
add a nuance to say that
absolutely.
when Oneida was able to make them beautiful and make like hedges out of them and like flowers blooming, so it's not so terrible.
Cool.
Oneida volunteered on all of the cleanup crews that Lynn organizes as president.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do us for tonight. Hope you all enjoyed it. Come back in a couple weeks for the rest of our superhero game, Superheroes Anonymous. Good night.
That was really fun, Nick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, fun.
Night, everyone.
Night.